In San Diego County, we've had a few so-called minor fires this summer, but our fire season is far from over. Meanwhile, concerns over drone interference in firefighting efforts continues to grow. San Diego Fire Rescue's Assistant Fire Chief Brian Fennessy, welcome back.
Thank you.
Now, let's start with the firefighters. How many San Diego firefighters are assisting in other wildfires here in California?
Well, you know, region-wide, you're looking at probably in excess of 200 firefighters. We've got 8 strike teams, 5 engines per strike team assigned to Northern California. That's 160 people, so that's not inclusive of the hand crews that have gone up there or the miscellaneous overhead that are up there to support those fires. So we've got easily over 200 people in Northern California.
With 200 firefighters up there, does that leave San Diego vulnerable?
It really does not. You know, we've learned a lot of lessons since 2003 when we did leave ourselves a bit available, and so we have great surge capacity. Those firefighters that leave that day to go to Northern California are replaced or backfilled so that those engine companies are full and they're protecting their communities from that first point.
Now, we've been hearing a lot about the Rocky Fire north of San Francisco, that it's hard to contain. What have you been hearing from firefighters?
You know, on my drive down here, I talked with one of the fire information officers. He happens to be a San Diego firefighter assigned to the public information section of that fire. And he shared with me that early on in the fire, when it was 12,000 acres, the projection models had it doubling in size over 7 days. It actually doubled in size over 6 hours. So certainly we're seeing the effects of drought. We're seeing effects of the wind, the temperatures. We're seeing fires do things up in Northern California that aren't typical for this time of year.
You were talking about the drought. I know there's lightning expected, but not a whole lot of rainfall associated with that. But here in San Diego, of course, we've had an unusual summer. We had rainfall in July. It's more humid than usual. How does weather like this here impact our fire risk?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the humidity has really saved us down here. Yes, it's muggy and uncomfortable, but that, other than wind, probably the biggest influence on fire spread is humidity. So as long as the humidity stays high and we stay moist, you know, the fires we get will run to the ridge tops, but generally won't spread in a manner like you would see perhaps in the fall.
Speaking of risk, upcoming risk in the fall, there's been some reports of a drone interfering with fires. The one that comes to mind is earlier this week at the sandwich shop in Linda Vista. Remind us of what some of the concerns are with drones and firefighting efforts.
Well, certainly it's been highly publicized, both nationally, statewide, and even locally. You know, with the recent Board of Supervisors action that, you know, flying a drone, a recreational drone, when you've got other firefighting aircraft in the air is extremely dangerous. And it appears the problem is getting worse, not better. So, you know, through public messaging, through perhaps legislation, the message has really got to get out that those drones have to be on the ground when we're flying our firefighting aircraft in those areas. So
to be clear on this, the Linda Vista fire at the sandwich shop there, K Sandwiches, the drone didn't actually interfere with that. You're talking more about wildfires.
You're absolutely correct. I talked to the incident commander this morning about that fire, and he brought up the drone and said, you know, it was perhaps misreported that it interfered with the fire, because it did not. However, that's not to say that it couldn't have had it gotten lower or interfered with the streams. But in that case, it did not appear to have affected the fire operation.
Now, as you mentioned, San Diego County supervisors actually voted this week to support penalties for drone operators who do interfere with firefighting or first responder efforts. Do you think, though, on the flip side, that drones are getting kind of a bad rap?
I think they are. You know, I mean, this is new technology, amazing technology. We're seeing things nationally done with these drones that have gotten our attention. In fact, you know, the San Diego Fire Rescue Department, we have a committee now made up of lifeguards, or urban search and rescue folks, or air ops folks. We're looking for ways to apply this technology to a variety of different missions outside the wildland fire arena. For example, our bomb techs are really interested in perhaps being able to move a drone over to look at a suspicious package as opposed to a robot that takes more time. The lifeguards would love to have one be able to float, you know, fly out beyond the surf and perhaps even drop flotation to somebody that's struggling at swimming. There are just a variety of applications that we believe we need to get in front of and pursue.
Okay, we have to end on this, but remind us again when our fire season peaks here and the #1 thing we can do to protect ourselves and our homes.
Well, you know, historically it peaks in the fall months, Saturday or September, October, November. You know, it's to be prepared. We talk a lot about ready, set, go, you know, having a plan, preparing your property, being set. When we say go, go. You'll review that information. You can go up on the city's website, on the Fire Rescue Department website, and there's a whole there's a whole checklist of things that you can do to be prepared. But that's really what we ask for is to prepare.
All right, Assistant Fire Chief Brian Fennessy, thank you so much.
Thank you.